what we have done so far is just the beginning. Just the beginning. The Corps of Engineers is only going to dig that inlet out as long as we can pay them. People get tired of paying for the same damn thing every year. In the first year, we had a group, a very small group, met right out there, and we got the state of North Carolina paying about 2/3. The other towns, communities, etc., paying the rest of it. Realistically, anybody with any common sense knows people get tired of paying the same thing every time. So the next project, which should have already been started, is to get jetties in the Carolina Beach Inlet. And I just said the bad word. I just said the word that scares hell out of everybody. Because it costs a lot. Says we can't afford it. Where's the money coming from? Coming from the United States government. They pay for every damn thing else.
That's right.
They're paying for all the other countries.
That's right.
We need jetties in the Carolina Beach Inlet for the same reason we needed the Carolina Beach Inlet. Now, if you would have been here before the inlet was dug, 1950-52, there was no, if you left here to go to Rice Beach at the waterway, there was no lights on either side. It wasn't full of houses and developments all the way up. If you left the Carolina Beach dock to go to Snow's Cut, there was no houses on the left side. Very few. On the right side, there was no houses on the water side of Canal Drive. There wasn't no water from the west side to the east side. It was mud. Low tide, it was mud, except for a muddy channel that went down the east side of it to the end and to Snow's Cut. When the boats left, which are the only boats here leaving were the winter boats, once in a while some yachts would come in and spend the summer sitting there, but at low tide it was all mud. We had a channel. We dug it with propeller every time we went out. So Sam Blake, got to give Sam Blake, everybody keeps forgetting Sam Blake. But Sam Blake is the one that got up with Dad and myself down at his bar on the boardwalk, Court and Sinker, and all called in all the rest. There was a group of them came in there. And he was the one said, okay, let's try again to get the inlet. So we did, formed a group, and for 2 years, starting when I was 16 years old, for 2 years we had to show a need. So the need was, once in a while, we would take a boat, loaded with passengers, go to Rice Beach, and go out and go meet our boats offshore. Meanwhile, we were sending the rest of them off the end of the boardwalk, south end of the boardwalk. For 2 years, we'd do it every day, didn't do it every week. We'd done it enough to show the need for 2 years. And nobody wanted to do it. It's a long damn ride. But my point is, it was dark all the way then. 2 years later, we had the government permit, and I didn't do all that blowing up.
You just blew a great story.
It is a great story, but I was blowing things up at that time. I was salvaging the shipwrecks off the coast. But anyway, which blowing them up to get the brass off of it. But anyway, we got a group to blow a hole in the inlet, but we had to get it dredged from the waterway to the beach shore. And then in the fall, when you had the lunar tides, the big higher and lower tides, picked the right tide at the right time and got a gentleman from up towards Scottsdale, somewhere up there, and coincidentally his name was Batson, not related to the Batsons on the beach, but his name was Batson. The drill, so this all had to be timed right. Better brains than mine. But got the right tide, the highest tide of the season, the highest lunar tide of the season. The dredge ended up at its point at that time, got out of the way. Batson went in there and bored the holes in the going through the breakers, And at the right time, I loaded up the Ocean Lady with the news media at Carolina Beach, brought them down in front of the inlet, and set offshore of the inlet with the news media at the right time when they set off the dynamite at falling tide. The tide had been high and it was falling. Now the tide falling in the ocean falls quicker, takes a while for it to wrap around it into the sound. So when the tide was low on the outside, high on the inside, set off the charges, and the pictures that you see made from the ocean from the news media was made off the Ocean Lady. Now, tide rushing out, carrying all that sand out in the ocean. Now, I took the people fishing on the boat, and then when the tide changed that afternoon, I brought them back, and it's like a waterfall. Channel about 50 feet wide, banks 25, 30 feet high, with 3 or 4 policemen standing on here from Carolina Beach and nobody over here. Sheer walls, and the tide going through that in it and falling about 3 feet like a waterfall. Well, I lined everything up, opened it wide open, headed through the inlet. I went through the inlet, I went through so damn fast I did not recognize the local policeman standing on the bank. That's why I'm credited with carrying the first passengers through the inlet. Brought them ashore. Now that was in the fall, so the inlet couldn't be used, but it showered out during the fall and wintertime. I was able to make a few trips then. Now I was 18 years old. I just got my captain's license in March, which was a few days ago. I turned 18. You had to be 18 to get a captain's license. I turned 18. I was sitting in Charleston, taking the examination about 2 days later. So I was licensed captain when I done all that crap. But anyway, by the following spring, we could use the inlet when the tide was right. Now, from that point on until the mid-60s, we kept the inlet dugout with our prop wash. You had Lonnie Burris had a shrimp boat, and he would pull a drag through it. We were using the inlet, but you had to use it on the right tide, and I would drop an anchor, put the boat in gear, take the winch on the boat, back up. We kept it dug out till the mid-60s. Then we got the Corps of Engineers down to try to get them up to take over the inlet. And this is one of the best things I ever did. Coincidentally, the state of North Carolina Fisheries Division was running a survey on the east coast of North Carolina, determining how many boats, how many people saltwater fished. Well, they were checking the boat every day when we came in, the records. I got up with them. This is what I need. I need your records of how many people used the inlet. We had to have proof. So the guy that was doing, I don't remember his name, I wish you could. I need to give him the credit. But we don't have all that data put together yet. Let me see what I can do. Well, I know that he started working on it day and night, and I know that he called me the day before the meeting was going to be held at City Hall, and told me, says, we're getting the stuff together. I'll have you something tomorrow morning. They worked all night long. Okay? They got all this data together, met me on the dock the next morning with our lawyer, went before the town council, Corps of Engineers, the whole bit. And for the information that I had gathered from that and all the other stuff I was doing, we got the Corps to take over dredging the inlet.
Yeah.
Now, all them years, Corps doing it, when we started this organization, I got called what we're going to do. I told them what we had to do, wrote the Constitution bylaw, got all this done. My first speaker was the Corps of Engineer commander. And he sat right out there, and when I called on him, he stood up and told everybody, and the mayor and everybody, that the data that I got is what gave them the justifiable financially to start dredging in it.
Nice.
First time I ever got credit for anything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all know the rest. Now, the important information, the important fact. We got what we got done. Now the next step, we got to get jetties in the inlet. Got to get jetties in the inlet, and that's my next program that we're gonna do with this organization. We're gonna get this organization to get jetties in the Carolina Beach Inlet, and that's where you guys come in. We need everybody's help.
That's right. And we got all some of the councilmen in the house.
Hey, you ready to rock and roll? Where'd you go?